Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Morning, afternoon. I never know what time of day it is. I'm going to start doing something that I'm going to call Moving Market Mondays, which is just my random and what I think is my most helpful observation on the market for the week. A bit like Five Fact Friday, but Moving Market Monday. And today, in under 10 minutes, that's my goal, to do it in under 10 minutes, I want to see if I can give all newcomers to this topic and people who are thinking of moving and feeling daunted by it the most helpful information I can possibly give in under 10 minutes to help you understand the journey that you are embarking on. So I get many questions every single day, but typically the most common question is a combination of, should I buy now or wait a few months? And what's happening in the market right now, Charlie? So the answer to the first question and the second question is that you can only find that out. You can only find out the answers to the questions, should I buy now or wait, and what's happening in the market, by being out viewing properties that you want to buy if you're a first-time buyer. And if you need to sell and buy, again, be out and viewing. And be prepared to make offers if you are viewing. Now, you won't know. There is no other way for now, until I get best agent fully where I want it. There's no other way of knowing what's happening in the housing market as a whole right now, today. Step one, let me explain. And I wish I'd had time to prepare visuals for this because it would make it so much easier if I could, but I haven't got the time. I want you to understand something I've put in the title there, which is the 2-year time span. So whenever you ask anybody in the housing market, what's happening in the housing market now? You need to understand what the housing market is. The housing market is the collection of transactions being attempted or underway or being concluded amongst a bunch of people who, roughly speaking, some of them who are in their market today began their journey a year ago. And some of them who are beginning their journey today won't be concluding their journey for another year. So the housing market today is comprising people who began a year ago and who won't finish for another year. So that's why I call it the 2-year time span. And today it's made up of people registering their interest for the first time, maybe viewing their first property, maybe putting their first offer, sellers starting to talk to agents, sellers changing agents, sellers putting the house on the market, not getting any viewings, sellers dropping their prices, sellers accepting viewings but not getting any offers, sellers getting offers but not accepting them, buyers pulling out, sellers having deals fall through, offers being accepted, people changing their mind, lender down valuations, scuppering deals, chains falling through, and for the lucky few who want to, finally, after a prolonged period of time, reaching exchange and then completion, and then being able to move in. And that whole process from start to finish, if you look at everyone that's in today in the housing market today, it's a 2-year time span, because that's just how long it takes. Yes, lots of people can move very quickly. Some people they know what they're doing. They'll make a quick decision, move quickly, get an offer, get it over the line quickly. And of course, there are always outliers. But equally, there are people who've been out there for 3 or 4 years in the market trying. And some of them might have been in the market for 3 or 4 years because they genuinely have tried to move and they've sold and their deal's fallen through after a year and they're back to square one. And then the same thing happens again. And then they're back to square one again. And not just because they've been silly and overpriced it and it's sitting on the shelf with no offers, but because they genuinely had bad luck. Took a long time to get an offer, got the offer, got it agreed, and then after 5 or 6 months, the deal fell through for whatever reason, they're back to square one. So 2 years is typical. So every time you think to yourself, I wonder what's happening in the housing market, either nationally or where I live, understand that the housing market is something that has a start and finish period that are 2 years apart. All right? I could go into much more detail, but I won't, because I've already been 5 minutes, which is much too long. Now, so yesterday I got a question from someone on YouTube who said, "Hi Charlie, I'm looking to buy a 4-bed house in Birmingham. I am a first-time buyer. What do you think? Should I go for it now or should I wait for a few months? Please guide. Really appreciate your help." So I've got only a couple of specifics in there, but I now want to read off the list of specifics that I would need to know before being able to begin to answer that question for an individual. So First of all, I need to know the location. He said Birmingham. Okay, cool. I know he's in the Midlands. I know he's in Birmingham. But what suburb of Birmingham? Like what part? Birmingham's a big city, right? What part of Birmingham? Because different suburbs will be doing different things. As we see in the land registries and Rightmove's breakdown of the London housing market, where every single borough is doing something different, large city like Birmingham is the same. Second thing, what's the budget for the 4-bedroom house he's buying? Is it low end? Is he going entry level 4-bed house? Or has he got mid range budget? Or is he actually looking at the higher priced 4-bed houses? I don't know, he didn't say. What is his borrowing situation? Does he need any borrowings at all? Is he cash buyer? Has he got small borrowings, medium borrowings, or large borrowings? Because again, the answer to that would change the situation. What type of house? Okay, he said a 4-bedroom house, but is it a detached house he's looking for, or a semi-detached, or a townhouse? Because they will all have different markets. And are they going to be leasehold or freehold or share a freehold? Because again, if it's a 4-bedroom townhouse, it might be in a block that has a share of freehold or even be a leasehold property. And finally, what's his motivation? Is it a personal motivation? Is it because he just wants to get away from somebody, get away from his family, get away from a bad relationship? Is it a professional motivation? Is the personal motivation maybe because he's got a growing family? What's the motivation for it? In other words, how urgent is the move? Is it a professional requirement to move? Or is it a financial requirement to move, or a combination of those? And then finally, people want to know what's going to happen in the future, because but should I buy now or should I wait is basically saying what's happening to house prices. And of course, what's happening to house prices varies with all of those things. Where in the country? What city? Is it north or south? Is it a big city or a small town? What part of the city is it in? Is it a townhouse, flat? Is it freehold, leasehold? Again, all of these things change. And so all I can ever do, unless you book a personal slot with me, which is why people do it. I'm sorry, there's a few of you who've booked with me, and I've got a bit of a backlog of one-to-one meetings to get to. I will be with you soon. But without knowing all those personal information, I can never say either it's a good time to buy or it's a bad time to buy, because it depends on the answer to all of those questions. And so when we get on to the final part of the video, which is, well, what is going to happen in the future of house prices? There's national stuff that affects it, and there's local stuff that affects it. Local economies are not necessarily attached to the larger economy, but of course the national economy does have an impact. But to look at what's going to happen in house prices in the future, we've got to look at interest rates, real wages, what they're trending in, mortgage approvals, all these kind of things, and look at them and analyze them. And then you can start to get a feel for what's going to happen with the economy, with interest rates, with house prices, with mortgage approvals, all that kind of thing. So I'm running up on 10 minutes. I hope that is a helpful 10 minutes for someone who wants to know what's happening in the housing market. This is why, I've just touched on the tip of all of those topics. This is why so many people get it wrong, because anyone who says, hey, it's simple, it's just this, it is not simple. There is nothing simple. It's not supply and demand, because supply and demand is local, not national. So it's not about supply and demand, it's about whether you've got the finances or not. There are enough houses in the country, they're just in the wrong places. There are hyper-local areas where there's a chronic shortage of housing, and there are areas where actually there's plenty of it. And it's affordable. It's just not where you want it to be. So we don't, as a nation, have a housing shortage. I think there are government figures off the top of my head, 750,000 long-term empty homes. So it isn't simple. It's complicated. But I hope that helps. The answer is to find out what's happening in the market where you want to buy or where you want to move, is to be out there viewing. Not necessarily listening to the agents. Listen to them if you trust them, but otherwise, go and see what's selling, go see what's not selling, find out what prices they're selling for by talking to the agents, and show that you are an interested party of moving. That's my 10-minute alarm. I've overrun. I hope that's a helpful video. Thanks, guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.